Okay, vocabulary review. Can I get a volunteer to share with us what the answer is here? 4 times 8 equals 8 times 4 is an example of what property of multiplication? Go ahead. Nope. Nope. Commutative property. That's the commutative property of multiplication. Okay? Simplify. Who can give me the answer to the first problem right here? Justin. What's that? 2 and 5/10. Remember when we multiply by a power of 10, however many zeros we have is the shift. Okay? Now over here, who's got this one right here? McKinley.
The product is 4,567.
That's correct. We're going to move it 3 places, 4,567. How about this one over here? Goldis? Correct, it's 3. This threw some people off because when we move it, the decimal went away, but it didn't really go away. It's still there. You guys understand that, right? Okay. And the last one. Who's got the last one? Go ahead, Rehan.
The last one's going to be, I believe it's going to be 70?
Yep, 70. We got to add a 0 when we move it to the right 3 places. Any questions? Okay, so here's what I want to talk about today. What you're going to learn to convert metric units of measure. Why are we going to learn this? Well, countries around the world use metric system for measurement. Measurements are easy to convert in the metric system because it is a decimal system. The table below is a guide for choosing an appropriate metric unit. So there's still the types, there's still 3 of them. The length, and the primary unit of measure for length is meter. And then we have these other units of measure, but they're just prefixes attached to the primary unit of length. Do you guys understand? Capacity, that's how much space is being taken up. That's liters. And then we can attach to liter the prefixes milli, centi, deci, deca, hecta, kilo. So the primary unit of measurement is liter for capacity, and then we could change those with different prefixes. And then we have mass, which is how heavy it is or what's the weight. Gram is the primary unit, and we can switch back and forth between other units related to grams based upon the prefix. Okay, so let's backtrack and take a look at this table in more detail. So a millimeter. If we think about the millimeter, a reference example is the thickness of a dime is about a millimeter. If you think about how thick a dime is, that's about a millimeter. A centimeter, that's about the width of your little finger, your pinky finger. A meter, if you guys take a look at the doorknob on the door over there, from the doorknob to the floor, that's about the length of a meter stick, okay, or a meter. Kilometer, everybody here has seen a football field, okay? So about 11 football fields makes up a kilometer, okay? So just giving you a reference what the distance is of a kilometer. All right, so here next we have capacity. Up top we have a spoon, and if you fill that spoon up, they're saying about 5 milliliters fits in that spoon, okay? Milli meaning hundredths or thousandths of a liter, got it? So 5 thousandths of a liter is what fits in that spoon. Okay, and then a liter. Has anybody ever been to the grocery store or has bought a liter of soda? Okay, so you can see visually what that represents. Okay, so they're saying here it's a little more than a quart. I would agree with that. I don't usually buy a gallon of milk just because by the time we're halfway through it, it's gone bad. We don't drink that much milk in the house. So we usually get a quart size milk, which is less than a liter bottle of soda. Okay. All right, milligrams. If you're going to weigh a mosquito, you might want to use milligrams, which is 1,000 of a gram, thousandths of a gram. Okay, and then a gram is about the weight of a paperclip. Kilogram, which would be 1,000 grams, That's about the weight of a bunch of bananas. So, with those reference points, or reference examples, choose a reasonable estimate for the following. The height of the classroom. Would you use 3 centimeters, 3 meters, or 3 kilometers? Meters, very good. 3 centimeters to 3 pinkies is not going to be the height of the classroom. 3 kilometers, that's about 33 football lengths. That's not going to be the height of your classroom. The mass or the weight of a bag of flour, what are we going to use for that? Did I start to hear milligrams? Kilograms, yes, kilograms. It's going to be kilograms. 2.3 grams, that's a little more than 2 paper clips, maybe 3 paper clips. A bag of flour is much heavier than that. All right, so let's take a look at these. Capacity of a soup bowl. Now, keep in mind, our reference point, we use a liter bottle of soda, right? So it's definitely not this one, 180 liters. That's a lot of soup, right? So which one's going to represent a bowl of soup? Milliliters, yes. Okay? Definitely not kiloliters. The mass of a butterfly. 500 paper clips is about the weight of a... Okay. Milligrams, definitely not kilograms. Okay, are we good? Okay, moving along. Now, let's talk about the prefixes. The basic unit length in the metric system is the meter. We have other for capacity. What was the one for capacity? Liters. And what was the one for mass? Grams. Okay, so we're going to talk about the meters for a minute. Okay, but all this applies. These prefixes, you can apply those to the other units of measure. Okay, the prefixes deci, centi, and milli describe measures that are less than 1 basic unit. This would be the basic unit in the middle of the table, in this case meters. And then the prefixes deca, hecto, and kilo describe measures that are greater than 1 basic unit. Okay? Now, the basic unit of mass is the gram. The basic unit of capacity is liters. You can change a measurement from one unit to another unit by finding the relationship between the two units and multiplying. So, if I have 1 milliliter, how many liters does that equal for this first example? Remember, you need many to make up the 1, right, if they're smaller. So how many milliliters would I need to make a liter? I would need 1,000. Or I could represent it this way. 1,000th of a liter is 1 milliliter. So the key here is to get what we have equal to 1, and what would that be equal to in the other unit? The decimal value, okay? There's another method to do this. I don't want to get into it. I tried it this morning and I felt like I confused people. It involves fractions, but I am going to show you this method with fractions, but let me walk you through this. If I rewrote 245 milliliters as a fraction, what would that look like? Over 1, very good. And then I'm going to multiply by a fraction that's equal to 1. So remember, a fraction that's equal to 1, the numerator is equal to the denominator, right? So I have to be strategic about this. I have to pick it so that the same way we cross-cancel factors, we can cross-cancel units, okay? So take a look. I could have rewritten this the inverse. The inverse of a fraction equal to 1 is still equal to 1, right? So I could have put this milliliters in the top and liters in the bottom, but I wouldn't have canceled out my milliliters. Does that make sense? So right here, because I can treat milliliters just like factors, those go away. You understand? And then 245 times, well, this is really the same as, this is, what's that as a fraction? Do you guys remember? 1 over 1,000, right? Yes. Right? So really, you're dividing by 1,000, right? And then 245 divided by 1,000, well, how many decimal places am I going to move it? 3. So this becomes, are we good? So let me just circle this and show you that. That's what that is. Okay. Now, let's change this from grams to milliliters. What does this become? What is the relationship between these two? If I have 1 gram, how many milligrams do I have? So if I have 1 gram, I have 1,000 grams. This one's a little bit easier. So rewrite 1.4 grams as a fraction. What's that going to be? As a fraction over 1. We're going to multiply it by another fraction. Now I need to make sure that I choose my fraction equivalent to 1 so that my grams cross cancel. So where's my grams going to be, in the numerator or the denominator? The denominator. So if you look, again, we'll cross cancel just like we would any factors. I multiplied this out, and this one's a little more straightforward. I'm multiplying by something greater than 1. I'm not really dividing by a power of 10. I'm multiplying by a power of 10. So which way is my decimals going to go, right or left? To the right. And it goes 3 places, and there we go. Are we good? Okay. Almost done with my lesson. First question. See if you guys can figure that one out. Where is it? Okay, what's the relationship between 34 liters and milliliters? If I have 1 liter, how many milliliters do I have? 1 liter, 1 milliliter is 1,000th of a liter. Well, the other way I think about this is one liter equals how many milliliters?
1,000.
Are we good? So in this case, we wouldn't really use this one. That would be the one we want to use. Okay, so again, over here, if I'm changing from grams to kilograms, 1 gram equals how many kilograms?
1,000.
1 gram equals, think about it, kilograms is 1,000 grams, right? So 1 gram is 1,000th of a kilogram, and that decimal's in the wrong place. Sorry, that is a typo. Okay, so here we go. Make it into a fraction. We're going to multiply it. I don't know why that was there again. It's my decimal. Okay, and that equals, we moved it over how many places? 1, 2, 3. 3 places over. Any questions? Yep.
So since for the first example, instead of the 0.001, we could use 1,000 instead.
I could have used this one, and here's how I would have used it. So if I have 34 liters over 1, and I'm hesitant to show this, but I think you guys can handle it. If I wrote this as 1 milliliter over 0.001 liters, this ends up being 34, and then my liters cancel, right? So I get 34 milliliters in the top. divided by, well, how do I rewrite this number down on the bottom? Sorry, that should be a liter there. Okay, so this is going to be what?
0.
1 out of how many on the bottom? Okay, and this is actually going to go back to what we were talking about before. If you think about this, this is the same as 34 milliliters over 1 divided by 1 over 1,000. And this goes back to what we talked about with keep, change, and flip. And we're going to get the same answer, so I'm just really taking you through a overly complicated scenario here. 34 milliliters over 1 times, I'm going to change that to times, and then I'm going to flip that. And doesn't it give me back the same answer? Times. That's a lot of, you haven't seen division of fractions this way yet, but that's a division of fractions. Top divided by the bottom, okay? If you didn't understand that, don't worry too much about it. That's going to be, that was probably something I shouldn't have gone over just yet. You're going to see those, not yet on the quiz or the test. Okay, vocabulary. In the metric system, the prefix kilo means that the unit is what times the basic unit of measure? 1,000, very good. What number should you multiply by to change each unit? So from grams to kilograms, what am I going to multiply by? 1 gram equals how many kilograms?
100.
How many grams? So what would I multiply to go to kilograms? To go from grams to kilograms, what am I going to use? Or I'm multiplying by what? They said you got to multiply by something. So you're either going to multiply by a number bigger than 1 or much less than 1. So what's it going to look like? Okay. Centiliters to liters, what's that going to be? So here the change was 1,000. What's this going to be? And it's going from smaller to larger. Did you say hundredths? Okay. And then liters to decaliters? I'm going from a liter to a deciliter, right?
Well, that's probably just a 10.
Right, very good. It's just going to be a 10. Okay, so write a number that makes each statement true. So 64 grams equals how many kilograms? Remember, you need how many grams to make a kilogram? So this is less, much less than a kilogram. So our decimal needs to be adjusted, right? So where's my decimal going to be at? 3 places. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do you understand? Yes.
Well, different way to make it easier. I just like the decimal where it is, whatever the number is, like you're multiplying, put the decimal in the same like number. Like that one is 1,000.
Right.
And the decimal is like
Yes.
places back in
Like the one above. Yes. So if we were to multiply this with the example above it, that's what we would get back. Okay, what about here, liters to milliliters? Remember the liters is the larger unit, and if we had milliliters, think about that. How many milliliters are in a liter? 1,000. So this is actually much less than a liter. So this is going to be a fraction of a whole, right? So my decimal, where's my decimal going to be to make this equivalent? It's going to be before the 3. Very good. Okay, and then the last problem right here, kilometers. I'm going from millimeters to kilometers. So if you think about the chart, going from millimeters to kilometers, how many place values am I going? 6. So let's backtrack. If you take a look, 1, 2, oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so we have 0, 0. Right? And you see the answer over here, it drops the 0 at the end. So it still does go 6 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, are we good? All right, so you have your, tonight for homework, I'm going to need you guys to do your Lesson 9 and Lesson 10 quick check. Lesson 9, Lesson 10 quick check. Lesson 9 and Lesson 10 homework is due. Tomorrow, I would like to try to give you guys 2 days to take the unit test. It's kind of long. Tomorrow we'll take part 1 of the unit tests. Tomorrow night you'll do the unit review, and then you'll take the bulk of the tests on Wednesday. Okay? Portfolios are due on Wednesday, but unofficially, if you gave it to me Thursday or Friday, I won't take points off. You guys got that? But if you tell your parents, oh, it's okay if we're not here Thursday and Friday, Mr. Heatherly said we could turn it in those days, so if we're not there, I can just turn it the next day. Wrong. Grades are due on Monday of next week. So the next time I see you, you'll be getting a 0 for that. So make sure you get to me Wednesday if you're not going to be here Thursday and Friday. Portfolios for Wednesday. All at the same time. Line up, please. Line up. Okay. Have a nice day.
Grams to kilograms, is it going to be 6?
From milligrams, millimeters to kilometers. You're dumping 6.
From a number 1.
We already did that. Grams to kilograms. No, kilograms is going to be 3, right? Because grams is the primary unit. Deca, hecta, kilo. Right?
Go me.
I got another class. Come on. Hurry up. Up top. Thank you. Okay, we have a very full period, so I need you to quickly, quietly come in. Where's the original one? Go get it if you want to go anywhere. First thing I need you to do, I need you to take out your homework. No, there's homework today. Lesson 8 was due today. No, lesson 9 and 10 are due Tuesday. I'm going to cover lesson 10 today after the quiz. You're the only class that said this all day long. Everybody else knew exactly what I was talking about.
I know. What do you mean? What about
Lesson 9 is due tomorrow, as well as lesson 10. Lesson 8, today's the quiz for lesson 8. Lesson 8 homework is due today.
Oh! When you late?
Lesson 8 is due today.
Zach.
Yes. What you got? Right now, the talking needs to stop because we have a quiz. I want to make sure you have enough time to go through the quiz and be able to go through the really quick lesson. The lesson's not very long. Why am I talking over people? Why am I still talking over people? I'm trying to communicate to you the next set of instructions. I've already taken off points today for people that don't want to stop talking. If you want to be in that crew, keep talking because you're holding everybody up and taking this quiz. And if you don't care about your grade, I'm just going to start docking points from your grade. That's fine with me. Lola.
It's the CC10, CC11, right?
Yes.
Today? Okay.
If you recall, I didn't teach that one because it was just simply what is the sign of the quotient going to be. Just like when we had the CC for the multiplication and the add, right? We had to figure out the sign. We're still adding and subtracting fractions. We got to figure out the sign. We had to multiply fractions, figure out the sign. I wasn't going to go over lesson 8 with you. I said it was on you guys to do that on your own, and it's due today. Okay? And last week I did lesson 9 last week on Thursday, because we're in a time crunch right now. Today I'm going to complete lesson 10. It's a very, very, very short lesson. It's like maybe 15 minutes long. So tomorrow for homework, it's on the message board. Lesson 9, lesson 10 homework, and those quick checks. And then tomorrow, for homework, what you do tomorrow is tomorrow evening you do the lesson 11 practice tests. Okay? But tomorrow I'm going to give you part 1 of the unit test. And on Wednesday you're going to take the remaining portion of the unit test. The reason why I'm doing that is the unit test is kind of long. Remember the last time it wasn't that long? It was maybe just a little bit longer for the period for some people, but it wasn't that long. This one's long. I need to give you 2 days so that you guys don't feel rushed. Okay? And plus Wednesday, that's the cutoff for Connexus. So that's what I'm trying to get us in the line. And actually, if you think about it, after Wednesday, we're halfway through Connexus first semester.
So wait.
How many of you guys were rushing last year to finish at the end of the semester for each?
I'll wait now.
The second semester, yes.
I should have.
Okay.
Listen, John, it's really old.
Yeah.
No.
So-
No.
I didn't.
Okay, shh. Well, I paced it out, so we're going to be halfway this Wednesday. Okay? And we're probably going to start the first lesson of Unit 1 later in the week, maybe Thursday or Friday, depends. I need to collect your homework because we're out of time. Rows 1 and 2, turn in your homework. I'm not collecting portfolios now, that's due Wednesday. If you're done early, great. Turn it to me on Wednesday. Homework right here.
This means that our unit test grade is going to be in our
Oh, of course, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And then Wednesday.
Rows 3 and 4, please turn in your homework. That's not an invitation to talk. I got that. And I think I responded to it too. Okay, last 2 rows, turn in your homework. Ladies, please stop talking. Nicole, Taylor, can you switch please? Okay, I'm gonna pass that clear your desk. All you need is a pencil, no notebook, no nothing. You're just gonna work on the quiz. The quiz is pretty easy. I feel like I said, you don't need to know the models or any of that stuff. You just need to know how to multiply those fractions, come up with a sign, add the fractions or subtract the fractions, know what the sign's going to be, divide the fractions, know what the sign's going to be. That's it. If you guys were able to do that in the homework, you're golden. Like I said, I wasn't too concerned about, excuse me, hello. You can close the blinds if you want to point that out. Go ahead and close the blinds. Actually, I'll close it. Here you go. Lola, extras, can you pass it over to this room? Pass it back. Take your jacket off, please. Sheriff, can you slide over one? Go ahead. Fill your desk, everything. So today's date is posted on the up on the front classroom. Today's the 24th. Make sure when you get your quiz that you label the quiz with your name and your cohort and the date. Pass it back. Pass them back. Pass them back. Pass them back. When you're done, I will have a warm-up on the board. You can get started on that and just sit quietly until everybody's finished with this exercise. Yes. Eraser, I don't have one. Does anybody have an eraser that you can borrow? so I made another move, and that's not exactly working out either. Leah switched with Jason. Laura switched with Jason. Face forward in your desk. When you're done, do not talk. I've already taken away points. If there's a quiz out, you need to sit there and find something quietly. If you can't do that, put your head down. But if you're talking during the quiz and there's quizzes out,